What's up, my ninjas? I'm Strident, and I am back with another video. So I just got finished watching an episode of Think About the Ink and Between the Pages, and because I saw something about Sherlock Holmes, I'm like, okay, cool. I used to read a lot of Sherlock Holmes back in the day. So apparently, we've got Paradigm Studios releasing an African American version of Sherlock Holmes and Watson, and so you have artist Rick Leonardi and writer Carl Bollers, and so I watched this thing and I'm listening to what they're saying, and I couldn't help but get frustrated because, as you know, Sherlock Holmes is one of the UK's. It's actually one of literature. It doesn't even matter that it came from the UK. It's just one of literature's. He's one of the most influential detective characters, or fictional. He's one of fiction's best or most influential, inspirational detectives. I mean, there's lots of versions of the character, lots of things, including Batman, was inspired by this character. So, there's so many ways you could do the character and make him interesting, and my thing is not the fact that they made him black. It's that in the interview, first they talk about, you hear the producers, I think it is, talking about how what did they say? The one guy said that he was drunk on New Year's, and he mentioned this idea. Then he sobered up and was like, hey, maybe we could really do this. First it was a joke, then it was like, hey, we could really do it. Why is it a joke to make characters in modern day a different race? You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, instead of making it take place in London, you know what I'm saying? Keep it with its sensibilities, keep it a little bit different. Don't try to Americanize the characters. They make it take place in fucking Harlem. So we're going to have two more black characters prowling the streets, dealing with street level crime, in New York, of all places. I mean, when people talk about breaking stereotypes, how does that not sound stereotypical? That's every black everything that you've ever heard of. You know what I'm saying? Like, every black crime related something has the black character. I mean, I pointed this shit out in my racism in comics thing, and then, like, on top of it, I'm not saying that, like, you can never have street level characters, but they always do this with the black characters. If they're going to be street level, why can't you make it a different place? You know what I'm saying? Like, instead of it being New York, which Marvel has done to death, why can't it be freaking, I don't know, Westminster, or somewhere else in the UK, or in the streets of freaking Russia, or there's people of all kinds of colors everywhere. So the location pisses me off. Just the fact that it's taking place on street level in New York. Black people in Harlem. You took Sherlock Holmes, you made him black, you threw him in Harlem. It's beyond stereotypical. And this shit really makes me angry. Because, you have these, these two white guys, as you're, coming up with an idea that they think is groundbreaking. I mean, it's a digital comic. It's just, I guess it will be a quick read, and it's not very expensive. But, I'm all for original ideas, and I'm all for the independent approach. But, man, why are we still doing this? Why are people still doing this shit? Why is it they can't, like, add something to it, Why can't it be, 40 or 50 years, or maybe 300 or 400 years, like, put Sherlock Holmes in, like, the Total Recall setting, and then make him black. That way we'd be like, oh shit, this is different, you know what I mean? When you look at artists from other countries, like Enki Bilal, he's one of my favorites. He's the one who designed the characters and a lot of the environments you saw in The Fifth Element and Immortal, a really decent CG film. It mixes CG and live action, and sometimes it's kind of difficult to tell. Not always, but sometimes. His designs are so original, you know? So original. And he has characters of all different kinds of colors and races, and he switches things up, and it's always semi-futuristic, but it will always be most of the time, it's actually a part of the United States, but really far in the future. And they still have noir elements, crime, suspenseful, crime novel elements, and mystery and, detective story elements. Why is it that you can't do that here? Instead, it's going to be another boring ass book that takes place in the in New York with black folks again. Like I talked about this, how your black heroes, I mean even Spawn, they moved to heaven and hell, but Spawn sat in an alley and dealt with a lot of, the crazy characters came to the streets and dealt with him there. And at least they put a twist on it with the whole heaven and hell aspect, but he was still kind of a street level, for the most part. He was a street level character because he didn't really want anything to do with heaven or hell. They haven't done this so much with Black Panther, thank God, but that's because Stan Lee never intended for him to be a street level character. He's a king. He always was a king. That's the point. But a couple times they took that away from the character and they made him a street level character. That other, what was his name? Casper Cole. That shit made me angry. He's a cop on the streets, and it was probably New York. I can't remember. It was so long ago. When the fuck is this stereotype gonna fucking change? When is this shit gonna change? Forgive my frustration, but I can't help it. This shit is just beyond aggravating. You got an artist, a white artist, you got a white creator, or a white co-creator, and then you got a black writer, and then they say shit like the black writer legitimizes our characters. What the fuck are you talking about? So you figure because the book has black people in it, you need that black voice in a room full of all white guys that don't understand that they're people. It doesn't matter who writes them, just look at people. You know what I mean? You have to, in the world there are tons and tons and tons of people of all different colors that are well articulated, extremely intelligent, that don't fit stereotypes. A lot of them don't fit societal norms. Why the fuck do you need to have someone specifically? Why do they feel, I guess, not why do you need to have, because I know why they need to. It's the same reason why some people think that they can't be racist if they have one friend of the color that they talk shit about on a regular basis. I mean, oh man. Anyway, that's it. That's all I have to say about this shit. Get at me in the comments. Maybe you guys have a different perspective, I'm not saying that the stories are going to be whack because it's based on Sherlock Holmes, so they're just going to probably adapt these things to this format, but oh my goodness, something that they could have taken so far got dropped back into the same shit heap as far as creativity goes, and that frustrates the shit out of me. Anyway, I'm Strider and I'm out. Peace.